Midas introduced Glimmer to his parents and Alex. Glimmer was even more charming in front of the Pringles. When Mrs. Pringle let it slip that she spoke French, the two of them spent the next few minutes saying things Midas and his father couldn't understand. Midas did, however, hear his mother say his first name again. "You're not supposed to say Joseph," he thought to himself. No, Midas never did learn another language, Mrs. Pringle said. "Well, I kind of speak Japanese now," Midas said. "Did they teach you that here?" Mr. Pringle asked. "Sort of. Glimmer here speaks over a dozen languages. You should take the time to learn another language," Mrs. Pringle said. "You should learn French. It's one of the 6 recognized languages of the United Nations, and it's the key to a rich culture," Glimmer said. "That would mean even more study," Midas groaned. "It's not that hard, and I could always help." "Maybe," Midas grumbled. Connors then interrupted to speak to Midas and the Pringles. "We'll be seated for dinner shortly. Teams will sit at a table together with their coaches." Dr. DeClute asked that the Pringles join her at the head administrator's table. "Walk me back to my team?" Glimmer asked. Sure." Midas wasn't sure why she needed help back to her table, but after she helped him out with questions and people, he figured he should. "My mother called me Joseph, didn't she?" Midas said. "Yes, she let it slip. Don't worry about it. Parents do that sometimes. Besides, everyone here has been checked by the HU. We keep our real names from each other as a matter of training, not real secret keeping." "I never thought of it that way. Still, it wasn't your name she let slip," Midas answered. Glimmer laughed and smiled. "My name is Jennifer. Now we are even." She smiled again and stood next to her team. Midas looked at the way Ion and the others looked at him. It felt weird. "I'll talk to you later," he said, and turned away to walk back to his team. Midas heard the announcement to find your seats. "You and Glimmer seem to be getting along," Virtuoso said to Midas as they walked together. "Yeah, she seems nice." "Nice? Are you blind? My brain is split 500 ways tonight. Don't ask me to figure anything out." "She likes you. You can't see that?" "I thought she likes everyone but she." "They actually get along now. See, she likes everyone." "I so wish I could read your mind right now," Virtuoso said as they made their way to the table. Midas looked at Virtuoso and thought something for a second. He then found his seat and sat down. "Oh, that was plain as day," Virtuoso said to Midas as she sat next to him. "What was?" "Your thoughts. A mental shield is only good if you want it to work. You like her and want me to read her thoughts to see if she really likes you." "I wasn't thinking that." "Don't lie to me. I'm a mind reader." "Okay, I'm sorry. If you can still hear my thoughts, why can't you turn the party line on for me?" "I can't seem to make a connection in." "Do you really want me to check her out for you?" "Wouldn't that be an invasion of privacy or something?" Midas asked. "When has that ever stopped her before?" she said as she sat down. "Whose privacy will you be invading today?" "Guess," Midas asked. "Orbit." "Orbit?" "Yeah, see how she's stuck to Olympian?" she pointed out. Both Virtuoso and Midas looked at the tall Russian who looked more like a model than a hitter. Midas shook his head and looked at Darkspeed who joined them. "Hey guys, what's up?" he asked. "Orbit and Olympian, look," she said. "Don't they punch each other in the face?" Midas asked. "Hitters don't seem to take that personally," Darkspeed said. "She really likes him. She thinks he's the alpha male of Alpha. Pun intended," Virtuoso said. "Really?" Darkspeed said. "Jealous?" she said. "No way, she's a little too much." "She'd break you like a twig," she said bluntly. "Kind of like Glimmer would break Midas like a twig," Virtuoso said. Darkspeed and she spun to look at Midas and she spoke first. "You and Glimmer? No way!" "She's nice," was all Midas could think of to say. "Virtuoso, check her out," she said without hesitation. Virtuoso thought for a moment and finally admitted, "I think she really likes him." "Really?" she blurted. "Really?" "Hey, I'm right here," Midas said. "It's just, she seems so calculated, in that European she-wolf type of way," she said. "Oh, make no mistake, she is the calculating she-wolf type. She also seems to like Midas." "Party line on," she said. "Is it the Omni thing, or does she really like him?" "The Omni thing sealed the deal. She liked him from the time she saw his room, and he admitted he liked pretty things. She doesn't like the loud Olympian type. Glimmer is looking for smart and refined. No one hears that," Virtuoso thought bluntly. "But Midas and his pretty room were the closest, right?" "Right. With a little work, she thinks he has potential. And him being anchor on first team didn't hurt." He started off slow, started winning matches, learned to fight, impress people with his building powers, and now he's an Omni. I just want to keep saying, really. Darkspeed laughed at what the girls were thinking while Midas was left out. I can't hear the party line anymore, remember? Midas said. Oh, that's right, Darkspeed said. The conclusion is, she likes you. Connor sat down and looked at the others who were not talking. What's going on? They're talking telepathically, Midas said. Hey, that's not nice to leave your teammate out. Sorry, Coach, Virtuoso said. Is there a way for me to let my mental shield down enough to hear them? No, your mental shield is up and it won't come down, Connor said. Then why can Virtuoso still hear me when I'm thinking? She can't hear you. Connors looked at Virtuoso, who was looking away. Tell him the truth. I couldn't hear what you were thinking, but I did know what you were thinking. Does that count? Virtuoso said with a smile. Okay, what am I thinking about you right now? Midas said with a stern face. Enough of that. Where are Bioforce and Olympian? Connors asked. Bioforce is over by the Athens team, and Olympian is talking to Orbit over there, Virtuoso said. Go ahead and call them back, Connors said to Virtuoso. Soon, everyone was seated, and Kodiak was asked to say a few words before they ate. He stood at the administrator's table and started talking loud enough for everyone to hear. Most of you know I like to talk, and I like the sound of my own voice. The trouble is, most of the people in this room have heard all of my best speeches. Kodiak spoke with his natural charisma, and the crowd laughed easily. But I've made it my mission in life never to pass by an opportunity to toast anything, even if it is with a soft drink. Kodiak held a glass of soda in his hand. Today I saw something that I have no words for, something I never thought I would see again. Omni guarded this world like a bulldog. He never flinched. He was my best friend, and I thought the world all the poorer for his deciding to retire after the war was won. Today I saw a glimpse of the future, he said even louder. A future in which a new Omni and a new team take over where the old Omni left off. To the future! Kodiak held his glass high and then drank. Everyone followed his example. No pressure, Darkspeed said softly to Midas. I would also like to congratulate another good friend of mine, Kodiak continued. Most of the alphas in this room were influenced one way or another by Coach Connors. He has been instrumental in the alpha teams and the level of training that they have received. As if by magic, he has always assembled the best teams, and now he's found the next Omni. To Connors, Kodiak said as he raised his glass again and drank. Kodiak then placed his glass down and started a round of clapping for Connors and first team. Kodiak then came to sit with Connors at the first team table for a while. I can't wait to see what you're going to do after this, he said. This might just be my last team, Connors said. Don't say that. I didn't believe you when you said you could do more good here, but you were right. I mean, look at the heroes in this room. Most of them learned something from you somewhere along the way. You can't stop turning out superheroes like this. The members of First Team turned away and tried to pretend they weren't listening to the two of them talk. Both knew they were being listened to and didn't seem to care. Kodiak, when this team is done, I'll have been at Alpha for 38 years. If this team turns out the way I hope, I'll be done. Who will take your place here? Kodiak asked and Connors didn't answer. Who? Do you want the job? I'm not fit for the job, and I couldn't stay here for months on end. Shogun! You were thinking Shogun! I don't think he's interested. I'm not worried. A solution will present itself. It usually does. I hope so, because if they ask me to do it, I'm moving the whole thing to Vancouver. Fit Alpha on your farm, will you? Connor started to laugh. Alpha doesn't need to be that big. Instead of the pit, they can fight it out in my barn. Go hobnob with the admins. I need to spend time with my team. I think they're still in shock. Kodiak looked at the members of First Team looking back at him. There are ups and downs in life. Learn to enjoy the ups. And your team is definitely on an up right now. Kodiak punched Connors in the arm and headed back to his table. You might leave Alpha? She asked. After this team is done, I might. Remember, each team is 9 years in the coaching. 6 years here, 3 in the field. Someone says they'll be a coach, the HU wants 2 teams out of them. That's 18 years. I'll have done that twice. Plus, built a place and designed the curriculum. I'll have done my part for God and Queen. Does my father know?